You've listened to thousands of hours of English, podcasts, YouTube, movies, meetings, whatever. So why is real conversation still hard for you? Yeah, let's get into it, y'all. Episode 106, Why Listening to English More Doesn't Work. If listening more actually worked, you wouldn't still be struggling. Sorry, that's so basic, but it's true. And hear me out. I want to say this clearly because a lot of smart, motivated English learners blame themselves for this. This is not a motivation problem. This is not a discipline problem. And it's not because you didn't listen enough. Okay, I'm not talking to people that are like a beginner. If you're A1, A2, you probably need more English, right? These are people that have been studying English for a very long time, and they can actually communicate a bit. Listen to me. If you hear nothing else from this podcast, hear this. Go ahead and repeat, put this on repeat. Listening more is not the same as listening better. Okay, let me say it again. Listening more is not the same as listening better. So a few weeks ago, I was on Reddit and somebody was just kind of like, for the love of God, how in the world do you actually get better at listening? And I didn't think much about it because it's listening's hard. And that question kind of kept creeping up everywhere I went. And I thought, there's a real problem here. People actually don't know how to improve their listening. And why is that? Why don't we know? So I actually created a listening diagnostic. You can go to my website, paradigmenglish.com. You can see what your problem is in listening. You can go ahead and go there. The link is in the description. So here's what I'm hearing from people learning English all the time. I don't understand English. I can understand English if it's said slowly. I don't have a problem whenever I read it. If it's something that I already know, then I don't have too many troubles. But then in a conversation, I don't know what people are talking about. And then sometimes I do know, and then they say one word, and then I don't understand anything else. Or they say I know the words, but then my brain just kind of freezes. People are talking and then you fall behind after maybe a sentence or two, right? And you're so frustrated and then it gets worse and then you stop. And then, of course, you feel stupid, even though you are, of course, not stupid. And the worst part, then you start to doubt yourself. You start thinking, man, why is this still so freaking hard for me? Yeah, especially when your grammar is good, your vocabulary is decent, might even be large, and you've been exposed to English for years, right? So that disconnect is super exhausting. I get it. I really get it. So here's kind of the misunderstanding. People that are learning English, right? Most of the people that are learning English, or actually any language, a second language, they have this idea that if I just listen more, my listening will improve. I saw another post on Reddit recently where this person's like, I'm trying to improve my listening for the love of God. How the hell do I do that? And someone's like, oh, you need to go on YouTube and listen more and more. I'm like, what the fuck? No, what kind of advice is that? And I really sat and I just thought about that. What is the problem here? Why are people giving this advice? And I guess on the surface, it makes sense. But if they're telling you that they have problems with their listening, the automatic answer without asking more questions is not go listen more. How does that help them? They are already struggling. And that kind of mentality, listen more, that only is true if your listening system is already working for you. And clearly it's not. So many people that are maybe intermediate, even advanced learners of English, that's not the correct solution for them. Whenever I had studied French and I went to France, right, I was like, my God, I'm doing great. And now I'm just struggling. And, I'm just struggling now. Is it the vocabulary? Do I just need to listen more? Yeah, I had the same thought and then it just did not work. And I couldn't understand that. Now, mind you, this is a good 15 years ago at this point, right? Before I really started teaching, before I even finished grad school. I was actually still in undergrad. But at any rate, what happens is this. You are listening word by word. Okay. People are focused on just the individual words. That's not going to get you very far, and you're going to get yourself exhausted pretty fast. If you miss one of those words, what happens? Now you're like, oh shit. Now I gotta catch up. I'm behind now. And so now you're freaking out. And now you have anxiety and this pressure. And then like mentally you're trying to translate sometimes. And all of this is happening and the conversation is still moving on, right? So now you're just kind of like over monitoring your English and over monitoring your accuracy. Your brain's just working too hard, friend, and working hard in real time. So you're listening more, but using the same inefficient strategy every single time. And so sometimes you need to just change your strategy to get the result that you're trying to get. You know, actually listening more could maybe make it worse. Did you ever think about that? Like, this is the part no one actually tells you. When you listen a lot with inefficient processing, yeah, you're not training improvement. You're training like tiredness, fatigue, delay, frustration, overload, right? And then you have all of this going in sometimes whenever you're listening to a conversation or you're in a conversation with somebody in English and you have like all of those feelings. You're like so tense. And that really is just kind of blocking you. It's like a filter. It's kind of like running outside or on a treadmill with poor form, just bad form. Yeah. And so you're moving, you're sweating because you're doing the stuff, you're doing the thing, but nothing actually changes. And then after conversations, you don't feel confident. You just feel like tired and drained. Yeah, that's the reality. So like what's actually broken, right? Ashley, what's actually broken? Yeah, let me let you know. Let me tell you. So if English is too fast, it's exhausting, or, you know, the conversation is just a little iffy. The issue isn't always your English level. It's just your lack of efficiency in listening, right? Your listening efficiency. So having said that, that doesn't mean you suck at listening. That doesn't mean that you just are never going to improve. It just means that you are not very efficient. And since you're not very efficient, that means you can become more efficient. Yay. Okay, that's the great news. So don't be too stressed. So when I say listening efficiency, these are things like being able to understand more faster whenever you're listening. And then just kind of being able to recognize, you know, chunks of words instead of just a single word. So you're not focused on every single word. You're just focused on maybe the phrases, right? Or the clauses, right? The chunks there. Sometimes it's even being able to know what's coming next will help you. And so that's something that you can actually work on. That's something that I can diagnose with my listening diagnostic, which you can take on my website, paradigmenglish.com. You can get that link below. And I will say the other thing that I think people really struggle with is they have no tolerance for ambiguity, and then they freak out. You know, like they want to so desperately understand every single thing. And even if you think about it, think about this, okay? In your own language, do you understand every single word? You don't. When someone's talking, do you focus on every single word that they are saying? You don't, because that's not how the human brain works. That's not a I study English thing. That's a human language thing. We are focused on chunks, and that's how we understand it. And that's what'll get you faster. So a lot, if not most, of English classes or your English teachers that you have or you've had, they're never going to train you on this because they don't know themselves. I have a particular interest in this. Like we could nerd out on that all day. Let me know if you want me to, because I definitely have time. And if you haven't already done so and you are enjoying this podcast, go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow me. Leave me a comment. I read the comments. Absolutely. So people just keep adding more and more English and listening more and more and more and more, and they're never fixing their problem in the first place, right? So you can listen, but if you didn't fix what wasn't working for you in the first place, you're just, you know, as they say, as the phrase goes, beating a dead horse, which is an idiom. It just means like to waste time and effort on a task that's not even important, right? So I want you to ask yourself, just be honest with yourself. Do you understand English better after the conversation or during it? Do you need people to repeat even simple things? Does your brain feel full halfway through listening and just tired and fatigued? And do you hear English but then miss the meaning? If you answered yes to any of those, friend, listen to me. This isn't a listening quantity issue. It's your efficiency. It's your processing. That's the problem. That's what you need to fix. If you don't know how to fix it, I'll help you fix it. Click the link below to get my listening diagnostic. I'm working on a training program, 30 days, and you're done. So having said that, listening better does not mean, 1, listening longer, no. Listening harder, no. Or listening more often, no. It means listening more efficiently. That's a skill, and skills can be trained. And once you know what's actually broken, then you can focus on it, you can improve your listening, and again, this brings me back to my diagnosis. A lot of y'all are trying to fix listening without knowing where your listening is broken, or why it is broken, or what to train first. You don't need to do that alone. You can sign up for my listening diagnostic, as I told you before. You can get that link below. It's a pretty short diagnostic, and it'll give you the information that you need. So this is you treating, let's say it like this. That's like treating pain without knowing the injury, right? If this episode described you even a little, the smartest next step isn't more practice. It's to do the listening diagnostic. My diagnostic is going to show you where your efficiency drops, that listening process, right? And then what kind of listening rehab is going to actually help you. Not some generic advice, not listening more, just some real clarity. I hate people that are wasting time. There's no reason for us to be where we are now, and there's no reason for you to keep struggling. So let me help you. Help you. You're not bad at English, you're not lazy, and you're not broken. You've just been training the wrong thing. Listening more doesn't fix inefficient listening, okay? Diagnosis does. If you're ready, check the link for the listening diagnostic and stop guessing. If this episode helps you, or you know someone that this could help, go ahead and share this with somebody who is desperately in need of a listening diagnosis and someone who is desperately in need of improving their listening. Next week, I'm going to show you how to train yourself, train your ear, train your listening for real English, not that textbook English shit that you already learned, okay? I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Go ahead and give me 5 stars, like this, subscribe, follow, and I'll see you next time, friend. Bye for now.